I've got a question that's deceptively complex. How does printer ink work? You probably haven't thought much about it, but this stuff is a common part of many of our lives. It's everywhere. First, ink and toner are two different things, despite the fact that lots of us use the words interchangeably. Ink is a liquid substance that you apply to a surface like paper. Toner, on the other hand, is a solid polymer. It's sort of like very tiny plastic dust particle substance, and it relies on the physics of electrostatic attraction, pressure, and heat. A general rule of thumb is that you use toner in laser printers and ink in inkjets. Inkjet printers shoot ink onto a page through tiny nozzles on a printhead. There can be hundreds or even thousands of nozzles on a single printhead. The HP OfficeJet Enterprise X series has 42,240 nozzles per printhead, for example. These nozzles are really tiny, about 50 microns tall. That's 0.05 millimeters, or less than the width of your average human hair. I remember hair. Most inkjet printers today are thermal bubble inkjets, which means they use heat to project ink from the nozzles. The printhead has tiny resistors in it, which heat up when you pass an electric current through them. The heat vaporizes the ink. The ink creates a bubble, which pushes a tiny amount of ink through the nozzle onto the page. When the bubble pops, it creates a vacuum, which pulls more ink into position for the next bubble. This happens at a pretty good clip. We're talking 36,000 times per second with some printers. The ink comes out at high speeds, around 22 miles per hour. The precision of these nozzles has been described as being equivalent to trying to drop a nickel into a bucket sitting on the ground while you stand on a balcony of a 30-story building. Precision is important because it relates to the resolution you get with the finished printed page, measured in DPI, or dots per inch. In general, the higher the number, the better the resolution. So, let's say your ink cartridge runs out of ink. Should you refill it? It's less expensive than buying a new cartridge, but it tends to make cartridges unreliable and can cause quality problems, costing you more in the long run. There are a few ways you can conserve ink. You can decrease the size of font you use. This is similar to what a student suggested when he claimed the US government could save millions of dollars by switching to Garamond font. But Garamond letters are smaller than other fonts at the same point type, so you might as well use your favorite font and just set the size slightly smaller. Many printers and programs have an ink saver or draft mode, which uses less ink per printed page. You end up with a lighter printout and save ink in the process. When you're ready to print a final copy, you can switch this setting and get a darker printout. Okay, so that's the story on ink. It's pretty interesting stuff when you get down to it. You might have thought it's as simple as creating a liquid that will stain a paper a certain way, but as it turns out, there's a lot more science and technology behind getting it to work just right. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some printing to do.